So I was a little worried today when I knew that I was supposed to bring the topic to the table because I kept thinking, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I'm not sure what we should talk about. But as soon as I pulled into my garage and had the reoccurring, I don't know what we're going to talk about in my head, I saw the bicycle hanging on the wall. And I was like, I got it. We're covered as far as the topic today. Because I think this is such a great topic, not only to continue to speak into myself, but to speak into all women out there. And a couple podcasts ago, you brought up that your goal this year is to get rid of all things that don't bring you joy.
Value.
Okay. Yeah.
Life.
Sorry.
Yes.
So you talked about getting rid of things that don't bring you value to your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to dig into the things that we have and how they make us feel and where we set ourselves up for disappointment by keeping certain things in our life.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you 2 examples from my life.
Okay.
And then we can go forward to it. So one of them is the bicycle that is hanging on the wall in the garage. Now, I have come to terms with it, but I'm going to give you a little background for it. So I bought this tri-bike from someone several years ago.
I remember when you did this.
Because I thought to myself, I might want to do this is kind of embarrassing even to say it out loud. I might want to do an Ironman competition is what I was thinking in my mind.
Yeah.
So I already have the running down. Like I can do that. So that means I have to get comfortable with the bike.
Mm-hmm.
And I really have to learn how to swim in a more of a competitive fashion because I can swim for enjoyment, but I'm not a lap swimmer or a speed swimmer. So
it's hard. Have you ever done that?
For a very short period of time because it does exhaust me. I mean, I'm not good at it. I'm not good at the breathing techniques that go with it. But I thought to myself, okay, I've got the running, so I just have to learn the biking and learn the swimming. Like I can do that. Well, I got on the bike a couple times. I had to take it, get fitted. I had to get like special pants that had pads for your bottom because those seats are
hard,
torturous in my opinion. I had to get, the pedals had clips. I had to get shoes to clip in. So I got all the things. I got a helmet. I'm ready to go. And then I got on the bike and clipped in, and it was terrifying to me. I mean, absolutely terrifying. I felt stuck on the bike because my feet were clipped in. I wasn't able to clip and unclip easily, so that made me nervous. And I felt very vulnerable being on the road and with cars. It wasn't, I think I would be fine if cars didn't exist, that I could just ride on open. But then I needed to stop at certain times. But what if I couldn't get clipped out? And and Ben gave me a beautiful setup on the side of the wall, the garage where the bike would hang up. And that's where it hung. And it hung and it hung and it hung. And so every time I would pull my car into the garage, I would see that bike hanging there. And I won't say every time, but it would be frequently I would feel a sense of shame or a sense of disappointment in myself that I made such a large investment and I wasn't using it. And it constantly was the thing that I better figure out. I need to do it. I need to do it. So every time I would pull in the garage, there was something as soon as I got home that I would see on the wall that I needed to do that caused me guilt. That stinks to have that feeling on a consistent basis of having something in front of you and feeling guilty that you aren't measuring up to what you felt that you should.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had to work through that. I mean, it as weird as it sounds, like this was a major thing that was haunting me. And I have a coach and I brought it up to him one time and he was like, get rid of the bike. And I was like, wait, excuse me. I made this investment and so I'm supposed to learn how to ride it. He was like, you get rid of the bike. Like, why are you, are you going to start riding the bike? No, I don't think I'm going to. So you get rid of the bike. It's simple. It's a simple change to remove that sense of guilt that you're feeling in your life. And I was like, holy cow, I just need to get rid of the bike, you know?
Yeah.
So that was the time that I decided I was getting rid of the bike. Now, the bike is still there because now I have to figure out how I want to sell the bike, but it's no longer something that makes me feel guilty. I came to terms with the fact that I'm not going to start riding the bike. I'm not going to do an Ironman right now in my life. And it's not something that I'm going to allow every time I pull in the garage to feel like something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not gone, but the emotional tie to it that was bringing me down is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you one more example.
Okay.
Houseplants. I cannot grow houseplants. I can keep children alive, but I can't keep plants alive.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
But I felt like I should be able to have plants. Like that's something that I appreciate plants. When I walk into somebody's home that has plants and they're hanging on their wall, and let's even talk about outside that, on their porch, mm-hmm. I would admire them so much. And I was like, I want to have houseplants. I should have houseplants. And then I would buy houseplants and then I would kill houseplants.
Mm-hmm.
And because of it, I would feel guilty that I can't keep a houseplant alive, or that I spent the money on the houseplant, or why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep neglecting houseplants?
Mm-hmm.
And so to come around, I finally used the same technique. I'm coming to terms with the fact that I don't even like taking care of plants. I do like looking at them, but I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to buy more plants so that I can then disappoint myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, long way that I'm getting around to, you talked about making some changes in your physical space
mm-hmm.
by getting rid of some items. And I think that's beautiful. And one of the things that I believe would help us is if we come to accept the things that we have in our life that don't set us up for success, and to let ourselves off the hook, like the houseplants.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything in your life that as you're in this process now of, going through and deciding what to keep and what to get rid of, how are you making that determination? And are there any items in your life that you have come to a realization that they're just not items that set you up for success?
Yes, so it's really a freeing exercise to start releasing things out of my home that do not bring us value. And there are a lot of things that I realized I don't need. I don't need 14 coats. One time I had a friend ask me, how many pairs of shoes do you have in your closet? It was one of the icebreaker questions, and we were in a group, and I don't remember. I said a number, and she said, oh, girl, I know you have way more shoes than that in your closet. And I thought, I don't know. So I had never counted how many pairs of shoes I had in my closet. I went into my closet after I had decided I am letting go of everything that doesn't bring value. There were so many pairs of shoes I kept just in case I might need them. A pair of blue suede heels that I bought for $5 because they were on sale, and in my size, they were like $5 or $10. And normally they were like 100 and something, 50, 60, whatever. Yeah, I wore those shoes once in high school.
Oh my gosh.
That's how old those shoes are. I'm not a hoarder.
Yeah.
But it was just, I do like shoes. It was a unique little pair of shoes, and it was perfect for this dress I had that was black and green and blue suede. Yeah, I'm sure that would be amazing right now, but I'm kidding. But when I pulled them out, it was a box, and it was 2 pair of shoes in that box, and that was one of the pairs of shoes. The other was a pair of shoes that, it was those tintable shoes that you could re-dye.
I remember.
Yeah, nobody wears those anymore, but they went with a pageant dress I had from high school. Okay, I don't need that. And I don't need to save it for anything because I'm not going to use it. A poodle skirt. A poodle skirt. For the next time that we have a 60s day dress up, I would have my costume. I was talking to a friend yesterday. I was like, why would I keep this? Like, that's a ridiculous thing to keep. And what I realized was it was a poverty mentality. I was keeping things because I might need it. Mm. It wasn't out of greed just because I wanted to have stuff. It was a poverty mentality that I had worked on breaking years ago. And I realized this is still a remnant of that. I might need that, so I'm going to save that.
And so I'm going to step in because one thing I know about you is one of the places in your life where you have over time wanted to, you know, you have a very well organized home. But if I asked you a place where it was, I don't know, an eyesore is not the right word, but somewhere that it causes you, like, you wish you had more organization in it. Like, it makes it, you feel disappointed in the amount of organization. I think your closet is one of the areas that you have mentioned to me before.
My closet and my office. And the reason those are so disorganized, like if you went into my closet, you would probably be like, you've got a lot of stuff in here, but why do you keep thinking it's unorganized? And you might walk into my closet and be like, oh my gosh, it's a nightmare. Like, I don't know what your expectation for my closet would be, but it's where I stick stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm cleaning out Sally's closet and these clothes, or not Sally's, but like Kelsey's closet or something. And I'm going to save these clothes for Sally one day. I put them in a Tupperware and I put it in my closet. You see, or if we're coming in with, I want to make the girls the t-shirt blankets. Mm-hmm. And so I have all these t-shirts. And so what do I say? That when they pull out another camp shirt or something, I say, oh, go put that in my closet, because there was a stack of t-shirts that I needed to store. It became my closet. Well, I was allowing that because I wasn't respecting myself in that space. Like, I wasn't esteeming that space as a place that needed to be my space, well organized, set up, so that when I start my day, I can immediately go in there and prepare myself for my day without a lot of hassle or frustration. But yeah, my closet, this office was the other one. Go put it on my desk. Go put it on my desk. Go put it on my desk. Why would I let my desk, my office, where I create, where I produce, be the dumping ground for everybody's stuff? That's another place. I still do it. Like, it's still a place where I'll say, just go put that in my office because it's downstairs. It's easy. It can be tucked away. But that's not benefiting me. It's not benefiting the person. I need to put other systems in place.
So going back to the topic of setting ourselves up so that we look at things and feel disappointed in ourselves. Mm-hmm. So one of the things I know, and I know different women, I will tell you right now, I don't think there's a right or wrong feeling around this, but yet I know that there's a lot of women that struggle with this, is keeping things that their children make or like school projects or, just bring home, like keeping that stuff.
Yes.
And this is, I think that the reason I want to bring this up is because this really ties to how we continuously make ourselves feel bad about things, So that is one thing. I mean, people have asked me before, like, what do you do with, the stuff? And so that would be one thing that people struggle with, of they tend to continue to pile up. They don't love it all, but yet there's an emotion of guilt on how to deal with it.
Okay, this is what I do. these 3 drawers right there, each one of those is for one of the girls. And so when they have, which she's in college now, so that's not a thing. But when she was in high school, even middle school, when their artwork came in, report cards, everything from that school year, it goes into their drawer. And then they each have a bin downstairs. So there is a bin of their preschool stuff. There is a bin of their elementary school stuff. And then there's a bin of middle school and high school for McKenna and Kelsey. But, Sally is still little, so she has only preschool and elementary. I am a keeper of that stuff. They probably will never want it, but it's in there. Mm-hmm. And then I can pass that bin over to them one day. But we have looked through them before, and it is fun. Or we'll have a memory or of an event, or like there are pictures in there that we'll pull out. But that's how we do it. But it's a system that's set up. That is something that I feel brings value to our life. But it's not cluttered. It's not all over the place. But that's how I save it, and that's how it sorts between them. So it is in my office. This used to not be in my office, but then I moved it in here. But their stuff goes into that drawer. And they have it for a year. And then when that year is over, it goes into the big bin.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am not a keeper of most of the stuff.
Yeah. And that's fine.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to say. I think everybody, but I don't feel guilty about it. That's where, so I think that's where I really wanted to touch on is setting up boundaries for yourself so that you don't feel guilty. So I hang things up, like if something mm-hmm. great comes home, like I'll hang it up. I think the few things I do keep is like, let's say if Mara wrote a paper about her pets, mm-hmm. or, it has some sentimental value. If she just writes some random different like Christmas poem, I don't keep it because I don't think that she's ever going to care to read this Christmas poem later in life. Now, I could be wrong. My kids may need some intensive therapy for the things that I've thrown away, but I'm pretty sure even if my mom had that stuff right now, I'd just be like, if it's mine, toss it. But, so I don't keep all this stuff, but I don't feel guilty about the fact that I'm not keeping the stuff. Like I just made a decision of what I wanted to keep along, and we did and I have a system, and mm-hmm. then.
And I think that's the key, what you just said. Like, you made the decision on what you were going to keep and not keep. And then drop the emotion with it. Mm-hmm. Don't feel guilty for not keeping it. Don't feel guilty for keeping it either. Because you get made fun of a lot of times. I mean, how many times has Ken laughed about the fact that I have little drawings from them at preschool? Tons of times, all the time. I don't care if he laughs at it. Like, it's not bothering him. And I don't keep every single thing because there's one bin and they've made way more than that. But yeah, if it is something you want to hold on to, get a system and then make it just like the camp shirts. Some people would think that's stupid. Why would you hang on to camp shirts? Well, camp is a really special place for our family. And they're not going to keep wearing these t-shirts, but how do you remember that? And so making a little camp blanket.
So one of the things, and another thing I thought that I had to kind of like come to terms with is if I would pick something up that was a good deal. Let's say I bought something that was a shirt or anything that was a good deal, and then I'm not using it. But then
blue suede heels,
right? You get a good deal on these blue suede heels. You don't use them, but you feel like you should keep them because you haven't used them. It's not just the fact that you might use them someday. It's also the fact that you made the investment, even if it was $5. You chose to buy them, so therefore you need to keep them so that when that time comes, mm-hmm. and then that guilt around that right. And that's one thing I've also allowed myself to let go of is truly evaluating if I'm not using it, then it needs to go to somebody who will use it.
Yes. Yeah.
and it's not me.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, I'm very comfortable packing it up and taking it to a local area where they, distribute. And there might be somebody that really does like this item and uses it. And actually, it is me being a hoarder when I have something in my house that I am not using. So, but I used to feel guilty about those kind of things.
Yeah, so what I realized was it wasn't that I felt guilty about giving something away. It truly was for me the thought that I might need this one day. And so I better keep it because I don't want to have to then buy it again later. I felt like I was being a good steward of my stuff, having it organized and stored away. But what I realized is there is a poverty mentality that I have adopted. And it's a lack of trust too that the Lord will provide.
Mm.
Because I feel like I might need this, my family might need this. And the cute little drawings from school, that's not what we're even talking about. Like, we're talking about things in our life that we're just holding on to, like that clutter our time, that take our energy, and it's just because we're navigating stuff, we're moving stuff around. I said, I don't need 14 coats. I'm not embarrassed that I had 14 coats. I might have had more than 14 coats. I don't need that many coats. How many coats do I want to have in my life? If you want to have 14 coats, have 14 coats. It's not, or have 40 coats. It's not about that. It's what does it take to minimalize your life, your energy, so that, for me, this is for me,
Mm-hmm.
so that I can spend my energy and my thoughts and my money around things that are important to my purpose in this life. And if it's something that's holding me back, then I need to let it go. For instance, we have got so many water bottles and Tervis tumblers and little plastic cups in this house. And we have a shelf for them, and they all stay right there, but we don't need all of those. They're just clutter at this point, and it spends emotional energy when we go to get a water bottle, and there's so many in there, you're trying to find the top for each one, and then you put the lunch boxes beside it, and then the lunch boxes hit the bottles and they topple over. Like, it sounds silly. It sounds trite. It sounds like that's not a big deal. But in the morning, when I'm fixing lunches for the girls before school and trying to get people out, I don't need to spend that emotional energy on that. No. Why don't I get rid of those? I don't care if it is a Clemson one. I don't care where it came from. If it was one from where they take dance. If we're not using it, if it's not bringing value, I don't need to have it. And if it's not bringing value and it's taking energy, I don't want it, because I have become very convicted. We only have a certain amount of time on this earth. And we have got so much opportunity to pour into other people. And we each have a purpose in this life. And I don't want anything spiritually, in my heart, emotionally, to distract me from that purpose. But I certainly don't want a thing, a tangible material object, to take my attention away from my purpose, or take energy away from loving other people well. And so when I'm going through to get rid of things in my life, to repurpose them, to give that to somebody else, I don't say, what am I going to keep? What am I going to give away? Which is what I used to do. Keep pile, give away that pile. It's, what if these things brings me value? And I pull those things out and I let everything else go. And that is a totally different approach than I've ever done it before. Like, what here is worth keeping and will make my life better? Everything else goes, oh, but that's a really good bottle. Awesome. Somebody else is going to have it. That's a really nice work outfit. Like, not workout outfit, but like business clothes outfit. Awesome. I'm going to find a ministry where women are trying to get back on their feet and back in the workforce, and they need the clothes for it. Give it to them. I'm not even going to sell it. Like, I want to gift this to somebody else's life. Furniture. I have furniture that I thought, well, I could sell it. I could put it. No. I'm paying a storage unit for it right now. Why? Because I might need it one day. I might buy a cabin in the mountains one day and put it in there. Do I want to buy a cabin in the mountains? Yes. I can get new furniture for it when I buy a cabin in the mountains. But somebody else could be using that right now. And I'm not saying you have to give all your stuff away. I'm just saying, like, that's where my heart is with it, because I realize it's a heart issue for me with trusting the Lord that He will provide. And I'm not talking about selling all your stuff, living in a tiny house. Like, that's not it at all. It's about putting things in your life that bring value. So tangible things, also relationships. Like, what relationships in my life bring value? What activities in my life bring value? If it doesn't bring value, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I love that. And for me, it's removing the things from in my life that I keep the shouldas. I should be able to do this better. I should be able to work this into my life. I wish I could. The wish I could items, like those, because those are the things that they're almost reminders that make. I have a lot of things that I do great. So I certainly don't need to stick something in front of my face where I should be able to take care of that plant, or I should be able to ride that bike. It's getting rid of the things that are trying to remind me to do something that I don't need to be doing right now.
Yeah. And getting rid of the things like one time when I had lost weight, I held on to the jeans I had. And I was like, but because what if I gain weight again? No. Why would I hold on to that? Why would I make a plan to do something I didn't want to do? You know, we hold on to things out of fear, and letting that go is really empowering. It is. And it doesn't, again, it's not about getting rid of all of your stuff. It's about having the things that do bring you value. I think that's important.
Yeah. So is there anything in your life that you see that you're just setting yourself up to feeling disappointed in yourself? We would love for you to share in the comments on this podcast. Share with us where you guys are at with that. If you'd love to know more about us, about our coaching business, or be able to plug into our podcast, you can go ahead and go to www.liveyourdesign.life. And there's a link there that you can find your favorite platform and get plugged in and subscribe. Have a great day.